Hey everybody, I think I'm live. I'm not sure. I do not see a picture yet. There I am. So we made it to yet another Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much. And let's see, we have Mr. Willie in the house. How are you? And Colette, always a pleasure, Colette. Mr. Roy is here. And Patty, how are you, Patty? So guys, how is the sound and how is the picture today? Let me know when you get the chance. That would always be great. So let me know how the picture is and the sound. So let's see. I'm waiting for someone to let me know that the sound is okay and the picture is okay. I have something to show you all today. Okay, Willie says great to me. Hey, Mr. John Payne, how you doing? Sounds good, Patty. Hey, Ruffy, how you doing? How's everything? So, Ruffy, I don't remember seeing you before. Are you new? And if you are, welcome. So great for you here. And thanks, Colette. I appreciate that. Brad says picture and sound is good. That is fantastic. So I got something to show you all. You ready? Dun dun dun. Upgrade to the channel. You guys now have a side view, so you can really see maybe how the distance is, and it's like really high quality. Hey Brad, good to see you, sir. So Brad says pick and sound is good. John says good as well. Ruffy says he drops in through all of your videos but don't stay long. Oh, well, I'm so glad you're here. Everybody welcome Ruffy today. So glad you're here. So what do you think of the new camera angle? It's with a 50mm 1.8 lens. So it's really high quality. Actually, thanks Brad. Actually looks better than my front camera. But that's because it's all about the lens, right? So we have this lens, and you guys can hear me with this scene, which is great. So I can switch on and off, which is really fantastic, you know. And so a little extra, you know, and you know, you always want to innovate. You always want to take things to that next level, and you always want to push your competition to either go to the level with me or stay behind. So always push yourself in everything you do, and you know, push that envelope, all that stuff. So that's really cool. Thank you, everybody. So glad that you guys like that other angle and the sound is good. So remember, whenever you start a painting, you always want to start with the detail mixture, and you just want to get warmed up, right? You don't want to go in cold and start doing like really tight detail with a light or medium mixture. That's just a recipe for disaster. Oh, Brad says mine's the best on the planet. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that more than you know. I appreciate it so much. So let's just jump right into it, and I'm just going to work on some of the larger shapes, and I want to work on the forehead. So remember, the forehead is not this, you know, just like a, you know, a piece of metal or something like that. It has a lot of detail, a lot of bumps and grooves in there. So we want to make sure that we are actually portraying that. And again, I'm pumping that trigger, and the distance is about 3 inches away, maybe 4. And you see how I'm starting to get dimension. Mr. Mike, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Paul, how are you? So we have a great group already. So glad everyone is here and takes time out of your busy week to hang out and talk about airbrushing or whatever you want to talk about. So I don't know if you guys hear that water rushing in the background. Either that's a video, or I need to call a plumber. So no, it's like a little water fountain video. If it bothers you guys, I'll turn it off. But it kind of adds a little bit of tranquility to our workspace. So, so right now my thing is 1 second rule. Really watch and make sure that I'm working out this this forehead the best I can. So how was everybody's week? So tell me, new paintings you're working on, some artistic wins that you had. You know, let me know. Always like to hear, you know, you had a new project, a successful painting, you know, all that stuff. So definitely, I want to hear what's going on in your lives, and that would be cool. Good place just to hang out. Like I said, talk about art, share not only what I'm doing, but what you all are doing as well. It's all about inspiring one another. Hey, what's up? Toe Beans is actually Wendy. How are you? Good to see you. So it's always great to see you, Mike, Mr. Deloach. Thank you so much for hanging on. Oh, okay. So you... Wendy switched accounts, so that's good. Good to see you, Wendy. How you been? Now the trick with making paintings that are realistic is to not be in any kind of rush. Just take your sweet time. And we'll move my reference over. There we go. And again, we're just going to continue working on this forehead here. And you can see how close I am when I'm doing tight detail and how far away I get when I'm working on more overall texture, right? I'm decreasing. When I want to do detail, I decrease my distance. When I want to do texture, like a large area, I usually increase. It's not a hard, fast rule, but most of the time that's how it works, you know. Okay, let's see here. All right, so we're going to continue working on, so we did the forehead. I'm happy about that. Let's zoom out here. And let's just see where we can add some texture that there isn't right now, because right now we're just reacclimating. And I think right in this area we can probably come in with some texture. So let's zoom in here. And oh, cool. So Wendy's been building websites. Wow, are you doing that for money? Is that what you're doing right now? And as you can see, when I'm worrying about texture, I'm just pumping that trigger, and I'm probably maybe 1.5 inches away, right? So let's see here. Probably like 1.5 inches away. So I'm doing like a little bit of tighter texture here. Right here is interesting because there's again, we have that little area. Oh, they're for your brother. How cool. That is very exciting, Wendy. Oh, Patty loves the new angle. Oh, and oh, thanks, Wendy. I appreciate it, ladies. So I'm going to do this first with the pencil, right? And then, because you know what? I'm not going to trust my eyes freehand with the airbrush. So I'm going to make sure that I get this correct, right? And I'm even going to double check, triple check, quadruple check. Ah, fantastic. Way to go, Wendy. And I'm just going to pump that trigger. 1 second rule. And you see I'm going to get that sort of very, very light, crisp little crease in her cheek. So I almost went ahead and went to go erase that, and I was like, uh-oh, that's not what I should do. So you see how I have this here? But the ink's still wet, so I'm going to leave that alone. But let's do it on the other side as well. The other side's the light side, so it's a lot less harsh. So I'm just going to bring that down, like right here with the pencil. So I have a good indicator of where I need to be. So I'm approximately, if you see, I'm approximately maybe about 3.5 inches away. And let me move my hand out of the way so you all can see. So I just hold this out. Perpendicular, not parallel here, because if you go parallel, you're going to cross into the nose, and that would look horrible. And you're going to spend a good part of your day trying to fix that. So you see now I'm able to get those cheeks, and that's what you want to do. Again, I'm going to hold off on erasing that, because if I don't, the paper is going to be wet and I'm going to tear into it. And I don't know if any of you ever dealt with damaged paper, but that's something that will haunt you throughout the whole painting process. Again, I have a nice hard edge over here. Let's see, over here, this way. I have a nice hard edge with her nose that comes up like this. So my job is to try and find that edge with my freehand shield. Perpendicular and not parallel. And we're just going to try and hit that so it looks good. And let's move on over to the other side. This is actually really good to see because it shows you how the subtlety, you know. Oh, thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that with the angles. Yeah, you always do that red velvet cake, or a version of it. Am I right? It's a version of red velvet. So you see, now that I zoom out, we can see we're starting to get some of the subtleties in her face, you know, that you see those inner contours, but they're very, very soft, right? So now what I can do is, let me lessen the contrast on this, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that I could probably get better if I just calm down on the, and maybe just a little like that. There we go. Maybe that way we'll be able to see things a little clearer. Just going to very quickly go in autofocus mode, and this will focus it in. Once it's focused, then I go back to manual. Okay, so let's go ahead and start erasing these pencil lines, and we have to be very careful to erase these pencil lines. So I'm just lightly tapping. There we go. We don't want to get rid of the work that we just did, right? And then we could tap away those pencil lines right here. There we go. And so now we're still going to work on some detail. Why not, right? We're here. So let's go over to here again, and let's zoom in on her mouth. Okay, so we can actually work a little bit with the aggressive eraser, but we have to be really careful. Even with an aggressive eraser, you can definitely be subtle, right? So you want to have like kind of a contradiction in terms, right? But you can be both. So let's very lightly just kind of erase out some of this light shape in here. Always with the 1 second rule, so important. And we'll, you know, as time goes on, we're going to get more and more detailed with this, but we don't want to be in a rush. So let's work on some of the inner areas of this, of her bottom lip. And maybe we can use our freehand shield. Now it's really important to find that edge, right? So just find the edge, perpendicular and not parallel. And you see we can get a better edge on her lip there. And do some freehand here. And this comes in, dips down, and then goes up. Just like so. It's a very tricky spot, so you want to be very careful with this area here. Oh, that's so great. You know, you deserve it. You do a lot of great things for the kids, inspiration, drive them safe back and forth to school. You deserve a pumpkin pie and more, my friend. As you can see, we're going to come in and we're definitely going to define things a little bit better. But with the 1 second rule, we're just going to make sure we concentrate. And then bring this up and then down right into here. So now we have the upper lip here, the lower teeth. So again, we have to make sure that we draw these in correctly. If you had larger teeth, you would probably be able to go ahead and, use a stencil. But with this, you are on your own because this is not easy. And it's all about angles too, right? Because this angle I have going too straight. And I can see. So you want to basically see where that other tooth is going to end. And it's going to be just to the left of the center between the two teeth on the top. And it's going to come down just like this. And then this one's coming here. Okay. So let's get it together, Tim. Okay. So this one comes out of here, goes over here, and is in between the middle of the front tooth on the right side of us. And then we'll come down just like this, right? And now let's work on this here. And we definitely have to pay attention to this because this is like super important. So we're going to look at the the larger shape here. And please take your time when you do this. And that's coming up just a little bit. And that's going to stop right about here. And come down, not straight down, just off to an angle a little bit. And we'll clean this up when we need to. Then this, as it comes out, I have it kind of a straight edge, but that's a rounded edge as it comes out. Comes out, then down, right here. There we go. And then this, we got to look what's happening here. So you see as it comes down here, it comes straight down, and then this last tooth kind of comes out of the horizon of the lower lip there, just like so, right? And then this comes down here. This comes over here. This comes way out, like right here. And then this actually comes down further in. So you'd be surprised when you really start looking at things, you can see where you're off. And it's not always fun to see where your drawing is off, but if you catch it, you can save the day. That's what you want to do. You want to save the day. Bring in this hairpin here. The hairpin stops right here. Then this tooth right here, and let's define it. Let's define these top teeth a little bit better, okay? Hey Patrick, how you doing? All the way from Montreal. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Come over here, like this. Now, her teeth basically are not parallel. They're coming down. There's this tooth right here. Let me see if I'm looking at this. It's a little slanted, like down this way. Right? Comes over here. Right here's the center. The center is a little bit off. And then this comes down from the top at an angle. And just like so. And this. Now, you can always make sure that you're at the correct angles. Angles are everything, everything, everything. So, come right over here. And then this comes right out from the bottom. And then we could definitely adjust that. Like right there. And it might look a little crazy right now, but tenacity, that's what you want. You want to have incredible tenacity. And you're going to stick with this because you know what? The alternative of having it incorrect is not acceptable. So you're just going to stick with it, stick with it. So this is coming out here, just like so. And then right here, we kind of go in like that. And then we have a little dark, which we can establish. And let's go ahead and start putting in some of the detail of the negative spaces. Speaking of negative space, you can see we need more bottom lip here. And a little more top lip. So we'll pull this down since we have more bottom lip. Now we need more top lip. Just like so. Same thing on this side. A little more top lip. Make sure we have enough bottom lip, right? That's very important. Things are not always going to go smooth with your drawing, but this is something you have to be prepared for, right? So that's why practicing your drawing is everything, because without practicing your drawing, when you run into something like this, you're dead in the water. Sometimes, you know, your line drawing that you work on is just not going to be working for you. And there's no reason why. It just, for some reason, it doesn't line up, or you lost your drawing. But have heart that, you know, the more you practice your drawing, the more you'll be prepared for stuff like this. Don't worry how it looks. Just know that you're reconstructing and it's going to come together. Okay. And let's zoom out and see what we have. Okay, I think the mount looks a little bit better. We just have to work on the subtlety of the teeth and everything. I don't want to get too hung up in the area, but just want to make sure I have it correct before I continue. Okay, so here I can see it kind of looks like a fang there. So we have to make sure that we regulate this. There we go. Okay. All right, so now that we worked on the mouth a little bit, let's make sure that we have the contour correct of the lips here. Then this comes out like this. And then this side, we have a little line here. Just like so. And this looks a little strong, so I'm just going to calm this down. And then we'll move away from the mouth, but let me just bring everything into balance there. Okay, so now we'll work on below this lip. We have this cast shadow below her lip. And let's take a look. We see that it comes up at this angle, but it gets much lighter as we go further up. So we want to make sure we don't extend it too far. Hey, what's up there? It's a cool name, but I don't know how to say your name. I think it's, are you from Russia? Is that Russian? That's so cool. I'll just call you D right now. So really good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. And so we're just going to continue pulling this up here, and a lot less pressure, and just continue getting rid of some pencil lines that no longer belong. There we go, like right there. And right over here, this is a little too dark, so I'm just going to calm that down. Okay, so now let's move to her chin. And we can see that the chin actually, you have the dark here, but the chin has a darker value as it's turning away from the light. So I'm going to pump that trigger, and I'm just going to give some dimension to the chin as it's turning away from the light. Remember, the light's coming from above. So that's why we're going to see this. See that? Which is really cool. You see how I'm going to come in with the light mixture, and I'm going to darken that area. But first I just want to go ahead and model the form here. And as you can see, I'm pretty close here, right? I'm probably less than an inch away when I'm coming in here. And as I want to get lighter, you see I just increase my distance, that's all. So it's pretty standard as far as the technique. Distance is so important, like one of the most important aspects of this technique, or of airbrushing, I should say. Deepening some of these shadows here. So pretty soon I'm going to actually start taking it up an extra level by going into the light mixture. Let's zoom out and look at the hole, and we can see we're just very quietly building the darks and the texture, and sort of with a crescendo at the end. So we're really working towards the end, the completion, I should say. Everything looks light, but things are coming together. Slowly, extremely slowly. If you have a little dark patch like I see right here, don't rush to fix it, because you know what? It might just fall in line when we darken other areas, and that's usually what happens. It kind of just falls in line. So you're looking at getting the values correct and also worrying about texture at the same time. So texture and value, double-edged sword. Okay, and then like I said, you see some little areas that may be too dark. Don't worry about it, because what's happening is that it's dark now, but like when you bring other values in, you're going to see it kind of falls into place. Okay, so now let me get another airbrush on here, and we'll go ahead and put in the light mixture. Okay, so we're going to use the Xtreme Patriot 105, the customized version, which is the same as my Xtreme Patriot Arrow, just has a bigger cup, and a bigger cup comes in handy at times, especially when we are doing background, stuff like that. So the light mixture is double the strength as the detail mixture, so even though the light mixture is very light, it is going to build up on the detail mixture, which is very important. You want to slowly build up. Okay, where is the other one? Okay, here it is. Okay. Alright, as always, we want to test our airbrush well before we actually ever have it touch our artwork. So I'm just going to test it. This one works beautifully. Okay, so here we are with the light mixture, and we're going to build on some of these darks here. So you'll see, even though it's the light mixture, we're going to build some nice darks with this. Oh, thank you. So Willie says he really likes the other angle, so we can really see the distance the airbrush is from the surface. So yeah, I mean, I love that it's a DSLR. It's not a webcam, so it really takes the clarity to that next level. It just doesn't work if it's a webcam, but it really does work if it is a DSLR with like a really beautiful lens. This is a 50mm 1.8, so that means it lets in a lot of light. So as you see, coming in with the light mixture, you're going to see that her glove is going to start having a lot more clarity, and her chin. And I'm doing it more freehand because, you know, I don't want this to be super hard edged under here. It's kind of soft edged to begin with. Now I may come back with the shield for the face just to make sure that I'm getting the drawing correct. Let's see, so we'll put this right over here. There we go. And now we'll come back in. Yeah, so it's all about taking the live stream to the next level. I have some more plans down the line that's going to make it even more fantastic. So, another spoiler alert, pretty soon I'm going to have a new website, and I think it's going to be up this weekend. And so that's really exciting, and it's going to enable me to maybe do a live stream on my website in the future. So that's something that I think is really exciting for me and for you all as well. You know, the diehards, you know, definitely. Go back to the other angle here. So as you can see, I have that beautiful freehand, not a freehand shield, but a stencil of the original drawing. So I can come in with, get some nice hard edges here. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate that. Next level stuff, right, Wendy? Let's see here. Now, it's always good to have your magnets real close. Otherwise, you can get that billowing and it get underneath, and that would not be good. Let's see what we have on this side. Okay, and then let's pull this down just to get a little bit of a harder edge here. Remember, this is a light mixture, so it's really deceiving how dark it looks, but it's really super light. And we'll just take this off. And now we have just a bit more clarity. And let's see if we could come in with the gloves and see if we can start working there sort of in tandem with the light mixture and the detail mixture. Work on them in tandem here. Let's see, this goes this way. Put this on here. This is tricky. We have to make sure we get this correct, so we have to really be thorough. Don't get complacent. I have to keep myself from getting complacent all the time. It's human nature. You want your magnets real close to the edge. Always, always, always. I don't think there's an exception to that rule. Now, if you want a soft edge, then you don't use a shield at all, right? That's the main thing. Patty, thank you so much. Have a great night. And make sure you get plenty of sleep for tomorrow. And I always appreciate you coming to the live streams. Always amazing. Okay, so you see we have a nice dark edge right here. So let's see if we can do perpendicular and not parallel. So tempting to just go psh, right? It really is. But we have to suppress our urges. Not all of them, but the ones that are not good. So we need a freehand shield here. So I'm going to move this over to here like this. And we want a hard edge because there's a really hard edge over here, right? So let's see if we can establish that. We just have to establish the hard edge of the glove. We don't have to go crazy. Once you establish it, it's almost impossible to get rid of it. That's the cool thing. And if I go to this angle, maybe it'll be a little clearer. Okay. See how I'm getting that hard edge? It's kind of, you can't see it just yet. Hey Todd, how's it going? How you doing, my friend? Let's see, come over here like this. And we'll just bring down this edge here. Try and do as much perpendicular and not parallel as you can. You're just gonna crawl along the surface here, following the drawing. And then just bringing this down. See that? So now you have this line coming down, and let's just reinforce that line a little bit with this aggressive eraser. Make sure you keep that line thin, okay? Actually, erase it or do this where you take your, let me see if I can show you better with this angle. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Okay, so you see right here we have this, and then we're going to come down that at like a 45-degree angle. So let me change the focus so it goes right on the pencil. Okay, so now we have it on the pencil, and then you have it sharpened, and you're going to go down like at a 45-degree angle, and you're going to end up with a chisel point, right? If we go to this scene here, you'll see that we have a chisel point, kind of like top of a triangle here. See that little chisel point? You have this really nice edge here. So let me just focus everything back correctly here. That chisel point is going to enable you to really get in there and get a real beautiful hard edge, and a thin edge at that. So that's good. So if I zoom in and show you, see right here is where the glove starts. And then right over here, it's very light, and with this chisel, I can get like the most beautiful thin line here, which is really great. Right along here. And then I can come in with some darker value. And I think I'm going to use the detail mixture for this on this side. And actually, no. Probably the best route is to actually use your liner brush, and we're going to go and get that line. Before we do it, let's draw that in with the pencil, okay? So we're just going to come down here with the pencil. It's a lot easier to airbrush once you have it established with the pencil. It's a lot easier. Just like that. And now we're going to use the light mixture. And we're just going to paint this in ever so thinly. You want to get rid of the excess water, right? Definitely. And then this over here, actually, let me see if I did make a little bit of a mistake. Yes, so this right here, interestingly enough, does not have this line, but this comes in like this here. So we'll just fill this in. And the line actually comes out this way. So let me just explain what happens. Okay. So the actual crease comes out from over here and then comes down, goes around, and then we kind of catch it right here, right? This is where we catch it. So let me just come over here. You never want to trust your initial drawing. You always want to be hard on yourself, in the sense, not hard on yourself, but critical of whether or not you did it correctly. Okay? That's so important. Always double check your work. Okay, so you see how this comes out over here? It's a little hard edge. We're going to work on that momentarily. But as we're doing this, let's work on some of these folds here. Okay, so you see we have these large folds. I'm still with the light mixture because I'm going to be a little bold right now. Comes here, and we have this smaller triangle right here. Comes out like that. Concentrate on those larger shapes, okay? Not the small shapes, but the large shapes. It's easy to get lost with the trees and forget about the forest. So this large shape that comes out like this has a little triangle in it. And over here. So you want to do this one large piece at a time. You don't get overwhelmed. It's easy to get overwhelmed, but the trick is not to. Maybe I'll switch on over to the the detail mixture here. There we go. So you see, we are starting to make some headway when it comes to getting these large shapes. We're not worried about texture yet. Texture comes later, way later. You always want to try and spray away from the shields, because when you spray away from them, the air's not going under and lifting that mylar. So try your best to always spray away. from the Mylar. We're still in the detail mixture yet. I'm going to get to the light mixture in a moment. Big shapes. I'm not going to get involved in little shapes just yet. That comes later, everybody. Comes out like this, and then this comes down. Okay, so if we zoom out, we can see that the glove is starting to come together a little bit, but don't get involved in saying, oh, it's too dark, or it's too light, there's not enough contrast. Don't do that. That's an emotional thing. You don't want to get emotional about your painting. You just want to stick with the program, and you'll get there. But you're going to get there when you get there. You're not going to rush it, because if you do, you're going to pay a horrible price with your painting. I'm just worrying about texture right now. That's all I'm worried about. And I'm not worrying about whether it looks like the glove or anything like that. It's premature. So definitely you want to make sure that you don't go too far too fast. Thanks, John. John says don't forget to hit that like button, which is very cool. I appreciate that, sir. This comes down here, this comes over, and this kind of snakes out, like so. And then we have this beautiful dark here, and we're just going to build this up slowly, very slowly. Okay, so as you can see, when I'm working on this, I'm pretty close as far as distance goes. And so now we're going to work on the part of her glove that's under her chin here. So let's make this happen. Put this real close there. And then we're going to get pump the trigger here and sort of get some value here. Let's zoom in and show you what I'm working on. Okay. Again, we're just working on the larger shapes. Okay. And over here is much softer. We'll soften that up. Okay. Let's darken this up. Okay, let me move her over just a little bit here. And then we're going to work on this glove here. So basically we have this kind of crease in the glove, like the stitching. So let's worry about that a little bit, even though it's a minor thing. I think if we get this correct, it'll go a long way with making this a successful piece. I'm going to come down here. And make sure we get these angles correct. Right here and there. Okay. Now that we have that done, we can probably do it best with the liner brush. So let's do that. And then when this dries, you can erase that pencil line. So why use this as opposed to Create Text or something like that? Because you can erase that line after you go ahead and put it in. But with Create Text, it's locked underneath forever. So your work is forever going to have pencil lines. This way, working this method, you don't have any pencil lines. Acrylic will leave your surface totally covered. Cover any pencil line and trap it forever and ever. Okay. Let's see if I could draw in. See, this particular piece, I lost a lot of the pencil lines, and not sure how that happened, but it is causing me to definitely break out the drawing skills without question. So now we'll come back and we'll define this finger here. And this pinky right here actually stands out quite a lot in front of her ring finger. And let's come in with our light mixture. And let's use our freehand shield here. I really want a hard edge here. Perpendicular, not parallel. I know it's tempting to go ahead and, go right along that edge, but don't do it. Don't do it. There we go. Okay. And now you can get this dark right over here. Got a beautiful dark. And then it's a little dark on the inside here. So now we're just going to lift this, and then we're going to do some freehanding in here. We can always come back. So I'm just going to lift off this because we have to freehand some of that ring finger there. Okay. So as you can see, if we zoom out, we are what we're working on. So we're working on this glove and sort of getting that texture, and we're not worrying about how it looks at all. We are just worried about getting the larger shapes and pumping that trigger and worrying about the shapes, and the texture will come. But pumping the trigger goes a long way in helping you get some beautiful texture. Come in with the light mixture here. It's a little bit darker. Okay, now we do have it super light over here, so we're going to come in with the detail mixture and calm this down. Same thing here, this is much darker. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, John. It's a long road, this one, because we have a little more complicated set of problems here. So we just have to really work hard on it. That's all. And come here. And let's go down here. So you see, right here we have a really rich dark. So I'm just going to start enriching this dark here. But we do have a reflected light that I really have to make sure that I catch. Rome was definitely not built in a day, so we are definitely going to take our time getting this glove looking correct. Come back in with the detail mixture and we'll get some of these half tones here. And then when I come in with the eraser, and then we come in with the eraser, and then we come in with the white pastel at the end and the dark accents, it's going to all come together. Okay, let's move down. Again, we're just going to continue molding this, looking for those landmarks. Remember, you want to pump this trigger here. Continue looking for these shapes. When you feel you're getting lost, just go back to the big shapes, okay? That's always going to get you home, are those big shapes. I'm still in the detail mixture. And remember what I always say, you have to follow the grain of the skin. Well, here you have to follow the grain of the leather. You got to move in that direction. Definitely. Wow, Tone, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good to see you, my friend. Always great to see Tone. Tone, you're doing some great work over there in Queens. Love your stuff. This is much darker here. And little by little we'll get there. I'm not concerned with whether it looks like the glove or the leather at this point. My only concern is the big shapes and getting them together. Big shapes is what's going to get us home, nothing else, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the big picture here. Oh, wrong camera. There we go. So here we are. You see how it's starting to come. But now what I'm doing is I'm going to be looking at the glove as a whole, squinting my eyes and seeing how it looks from far away. And that's really going to help me as to where I need to put things. And you know, where there's some kind of dark halftones here that I might be making too light, right? So definitely like in here, this is very much darker over here. And then on this side of this glove, it's nice and dark. And it's dark over here. To get the half shadow from the hair. And let's see. Hey, Choki, how you doing? Ah, from Mexico. Que bueno. ¿Cómo estás? Okay, so now we have this area right here. Let's see if we can go ahead and start establishing that and kind of incorporating that. But you can see little by little, we're getting somewhere with the glove, right? Little by little. This is a lot harder than the glove that I worked with when I did Dua Lipa, if you all remember that. But as you can see, we're just darkening it. Ah, qué bueno, qué bueno. Estoy muy contento que tú estás aquí, señor. Or señorita, I'm not sure. I'm going to be right back. Yo voy a regresar. So talks amongst yourselves, and I'll see you in a moment. Hey, I'm back. Thank you so much. And I got myself some green tea citrus iced tea. So not bad. So that's going to be good. I'm going to take a sip of that. So what we're going to do, we're going to integrate this part. But I do have this little shield that I made, and I want to protect her skin here. I'm just going to put this on here like so. Make sure I get this correct. Because I would hate to have overspray, right? That would be terrible. So we'll just cover and protect her arm. And we're going to integrate this part here. So we have the light mixture. And we'll put that close. And I'm going to zoom in real close. Hey, Nameless, how you doing? Good to see ya. Let's see here. Okay. So we have this right here. And then we're going to start integrating the background into that glove. Same thing here. Just going to move this over like so. Well, I'm glad I'm back there. But nature called, my friend. But yeah, I know it's, you know, when the live stream stops like that, it is kind of awkward, definitely. Now we're going to have to come in with the medium mixture and everything here, but we just want to start to integrate this. Okay, so we remove this, and we'll see we're just working on this glove all together, you know, coming together, and not going too far ahead of the other glove, right? I can go ahead and finish this glove totally, and then be on to the next glove, but I'm not getting the relationships. So you want to work them up. Hey, how you doing, Blue? Good to see you. Hey, Steve Leahy, how are you, sir? Good to see you. How's everything, sir? And let's move this over here. Now this is tricky here, so you definitely want to take your time. No points for speed. Let's see. I'm going to be working basically on the fingers right now, and then some of these folds as we come down. And let's see, move this over just a tad. The importance of putting one of these on correctly. There, you can't even measure how important it is to get this correctly. Okay. All right, let's see if we have another little one over here. So we're going to start with the detail mixture, and then we'll build up into the light mixture. So detail mixture first, and let's take a look and see. We'll come down here, and let me show you the distance I'm going to be with the other angle. All right, so you see, here I am, and I'm real close here. I mean, like super close when it comes to coming in with the detail of this finger here. Wow, thank you so much, Blue. I appreciate it. We're just taking our time, you know, making sure we get the big pieces first before we get involved with little details. And then, once again, if we're looking at this correctly, we'll see that this comes down right here. And then, so we're getting this finger pretty much correct. And now we just have to move on to the index finger. Okay. And let's see if we go over to the other camera angle right here. And I'm going to zoom in because this hand is, you know, with the glove is pretty intricate, and it's easy to get lost. It really is. So we have to concentrate not to get lost. So we're going to worry about the big shapes. Bring this down. Now we do have some stitches to worry about. But before we do that, let's continue with these big shapes here. And let's work on this finger right here. Maybe be a good idea before we lose the drawing to kind of establish, some of these stitches here. Always best to do it in pencil. Now you probably can't see it with the glare, but I can see it. Come down here, and it comes all the way down. Same thing here. You definitely want to bring that down. Comes over, and then it comes all the way to the point and comes around by her nail right there. Nail, of course, is underneath the glove. It's all about angles. Then if we zoom out, we can see there's a lot going on with a lot of these, of this crease or stitching of the glove, which is so important. And we're going to actually reinforce that pencil line because we're going to need it. We are going to need this pencil line here. Come back in with the white mixture. And now we have that established. Now we can use those pencil lines as guideposts as to where we're going to spray. And stick with the big picture here. I'm so glad, I'm so very happy as well, Steve, that your son is doing much better. That is great to hear. Great news. Sorry you had to go through that. That's rough for any parent. So I'm going to try something a little progressive. Oh, fantastic question. So Blue says, will the pencil lines kind of get assimilated, or will they, I'll erase them? The fact that I'm working in the India ink is that they won't be trapped underneath, so I can always erase the pencil lines, even at the end of the painting, which is great. And Mr. Leahy says, thanks, Tim. Oh, yes. Tell him he's out of the inheritance. Hey, he's not going to get that custom micron, that's for sure, right? Let's see. I'm going to do something progressive with my camera right now. I'm going to go into the menu. Let me see if I can. Okay, so you guys might see my menu. And yes. Let me see if I can see the menu. Nope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this screen here for now. And I'm going to do that here. Let's see. So I'm going into my menu and I'm going to Great. Okay, so we are set. And let's see how this works. You never know. Let's see. Now what I want to do is something that could be really cool. So now when I go to the other screen, I think I might be able to zoom in. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Huh. Okay, almost there, guys. Let me do this one more. Stick with me. It's going to be worth it. Trust me. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. So, I'm still here. Oh. Okay, let's see if this works. One more time. Things that I should do before I go live, right? Okay. Okay. This is not bad so far. Okay, so you see all that information, right? Let me see if I can get rid of all that info. I have to maybe come over here. And so we do see all that information, and that's a bummer. Hopefully we can get rid of that. Okay, we might be able to. Let me just hit this. Okay, so now I'm going to try and zoom in. This is kind of wild, but I think we might be able to get some next level stuff here. Okay. All right, so now you guys can see that I have like the ability to get like super tight detail. So I'm going to go in with my detail mixture, and I'm just going to work on this here. And keep with the 1 second rule. Let's see what other kind of really cool detail we can get. So you see we have the detail here in this glove. And then here this middle finger. Oh, thanks, Nameless. I appreciate that. Little by little we'll get there. And remember, we're building up the dark. So right now we're basically just doing, let me see if I can zoom out again. So as you can see, we're just building up different values and everything like that. And we'll go to the other screen here. And little by little, we're working on the large shape. So let's go back to the old angle and work on these large shapes here. It's nice to do the little details, but in the beginning like this, in the beginning of really working on this glove, we really have to get in there, out there actually, not, and look at the big picture. This is all very dark as it comes down here. And then you see we have this nice big shape right over here that we have to worry about. This is like a painting inside the painting right now, right? It really is. So, Nameless says, so Tim, the Pinley line, do they have an empty space when erased, like the liquid mask? The fine line, do they leave an empty space when erased? Not at all. When you use it in pencil, but what I like to do is if I have a fine line, I'll just go ahead and go over it with ink. And then after that, then I erase it so the ink shows through. So that works out really well. This is definitely difficult gloves. Difficult meaning you just have to stick with it. Not difficult that it's overly hard. It's just it's involved. They are involved, the gloves. And always stick with it. Never get discouraged of what have you. Let's see, come back in with the light mixture. Remember, the light mixture is acting like the medium mixture right now. And don't, if you think you should be further along, don't rush it, right? Maybe I want to go ahead and darken that whole glove because I want it to look like the glove right now. That would be the wrong thinking. Your thinking right now should be just stick with the process. Don't matter how long it goes, how long it takes. Stick with the process. The process works, proven, so make sure you don't veer from your game plan. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It's over here. It's kind of a large shape that comes down. Just like so. let's take a look and see what we have, and then we'll go from there. Can't believe how fast this live stream has been going. Okay. So as you can see, we're establishing those gloves. Got a long way to go. I mean, a long, long way to go. So if we were to zoom out, let's say, or look at the other angle, we can really see. Let me just fix this camera here. Comes over here. Wow, thank you, Mr. Steve. I appreciate that. Steve with the super sticker. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. And so when we want to zoom in, we're going to have all this display here, I think. I don't know if there's a way to get rid of it. Thank you, Steve, for your support. I really appreciate that, sir. Very, very much. And let me see. Can I get rid of it here? Nope, I don't think so. Okay. Thank you, sir. I really, really appreciate that. And so, as, for Marathon Painters. Thank you, sir. Very inspiring. I really appreciate that, Steve. And I appreciate you coming to the live stream and hanging out. And, you know, means a lot to me. I learned a lot from you just in the past year alone. I learned a lot from Steve's live streams. If you don't know about Steve's live streams, they're Monday night from 6 to around 7 o'clock. No, 6 around 8 o'clock, more or less, right? And Blue says, Tim, what do you do for leather texture? Great question. So, as far as leather texture, okay, just before that, I just want to finish. So SteveLeahy.com, no, Steve Leahy on Facebook, and he has his live streams Monday night between 6 and 8, and I learn a lot. So definitely check him out if you want to continue learning about airbrushing and different techniques that you can incorporate with airbrushing. So that's cool. So Blue, basically, I don't really worry about texture. I was always taught that if you pay attention to what's happening, the texture will show itself anyway. Now, we do have advantages with working with airbrush, and the main advantage is that we can use the air patterns of droplets of paint to get texture. We could create more space between each droplet to create a texture, and so definitely I'm doing that. I'm paying attention to what's there, but I'm also making sure that I am pumping that trigger to get that texture. If I want spaces to be a little further away, I might spray further away, and then remember, because it's a cone, and if the cone is really small close to the surface, but as you get further away, the cone gets bigger. So there's a lot of different ways you get texture. But the best answer is don't worry about texture. Just worry about paying attention to what's there. That's going to get you to the homeland. That's going to get you to the promised land, is really paying attention. Don't give up. Be tenacious like a bulldog, right? Just see how I am with these gloves, right? Might look like nothing's happening, but I am sticking with it. And I am going to stick with it all the time. Oh, yes, and Mr. Steve Leahy's on Thursdays on Instagram, Steve Leahy, and that's at 11 o'clock, and that's live, too, so really cool. So, 2 chances to catch Mr. Leahy, and I'll tell you, you're not going to be sorry. I learned so much. These magnets, I learned how to do the magnets from Steve, and that's no exaggeration. I was doing footballs, and that was challenging to say the least. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the other. So we are at 11:20 already, which is really great. So I'll be there because I'm usually there at Steve's live streams because I want to get up on some of the great information he's given. So this is camera 1 with the detail, so it's really cool. I get to have all these different camera angles for everybody, which is cool. Oh, cool! So that's great. Nameless may be able to catch Steve's live stream on Instagram on Thursday, which is tomorrow, right? That's right around the corner. Unfortunately, I can't make it because I'm teaching a class, but if I wasn't, I'll catch it afterwards. Because you record them on Instagram, don't you, sir? Hey, Brad, thank you so much. So that's 2 super chats. Thank you, my friends. I really appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. All of this helps me to keep the channel going, to get camera equipment like this other camera angle. It wouldn't be possible because I can't do it alone. And, you know, help like you guys, super chat, becoming Patreons, buying stuff on my website, all of that all helps immensely. So, you know, over the course of a year, I mean, really makes a difference. Really does. So you see, we are getting some sort of feel of leather right now. We have a long way to go, but at least I don't care how it looks right now. I only care that I'm sticking with the game plan. That's the only thing I'm really worried about, right? And let's see. Nameless says, Blue, what did to practice with coloring books? Oh, wow, I heard a lot of people do that. That's fantastic. So, really cool. So let's go ahead and come to the other camera angle here. Again, we're just going to continue. Let's move down, shall we, this way, and see if we could work on just how, maybe just zoom out a bit. Okay, so right now we have to assimilate the glove, this dark of the glove, with the rest over here. And the only way I really see I'm going to do that is to take my aggressive eraser. And this is really interesting. So let me see if I can come in with this camera here. And I'm going to zoom in really tight. But the first thing is I want to show you all this really cool technique I learned. And I'm just going to come down right here. So now I have to focus this. So let's see if I can focus this. Make sure I come in with manual focus. Okay. Okay, great. So now I just have to move this down like there. Okay, so now you guys see that edge, right? Just for the sake of just showing you that edge. Okay, whoop. F2.0, it's really hard. It's a very shallow depth of field. It's very hard to get that. But what I do, if I can show you, is I take the aggressive eraser and I go right on the edge, and what I do is try and obliterate that edge ever so lightly, just in little circular motions, just to obliterate that edge, right? Now it's important to obliterate the edge and then come back slowly. So you can see right there is where I start. I'm going to come in with the light mixture, and what I'm going to do is kind of go over where I obliterated it. And as you can see, by doing this, I just ever so slowly get rid of that hard edge, right? And then when I come in with the medium mixture later and the dark mixture, it really gets rid of it. So right here you can see a significant hard edge, right? And so I'm just going to make sure I don't go where I just went, because that's wet, right? You never want to erase on wet paper. That is a super no-no. So I'm not going aggressive. I have an aggressive eraser. Doesn't mean you have to use it as an aggressive eraser. So I'm just going to do circular motions, and I'm going to obliterate that edge. And you have to have really good aim, right? So you don't want to go too far to the left or too far to the right. So as you see again with the light mixture, and I'm just going to have good aim, and I'm just going to aim right on it. Don't get too wet with it. And as you see, if I change camera lenses, you can see how I assimilated this edge here, and how you can see, because this used to have this edge over here. So you see, you want to basically, so we have to continue it here. So if we're looking at it at this angle, and I'm zooming in, so you can see, like right here, we have to go ahead and hey Paul, thank you so much. All right, this is a great night. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you for your support. And so we're just going to finish the night out. Hey, what's up, Mr. John Diekman? Good to see you all the way from Wisconsin. So you see how I'm kind of obliterating that edge there, little circular motions, and then I'm going to come back in with the light mixture. But make sure I do not touch anywhere I already worked, right? As far as obliterating edge, because that's really saturated, you know? And so have a great night, John. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you, Mr. Payne. I appreciate that. So, okay, what is the theme of tonight? So the theme of tonight, which I think was the theme of last week, is to be tenacious. See how I went ahead and very slowly I'm obliterating that edge, and I'm assimilating that glove into the background, right? So you see how that works? See how that's becoming part of the background and not so separated from it? And then it looks like her glove and her are actually in that environment, right? She's not pasted on there. You don't want it to look like she's pasted on there, right? Take care, Todd. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate it. You have a good night. Oh, this is going to be, of course, still on the website, still on Facebook, so you're going to be able to go ahead. And so here again, so if we look at the reference here, we have a, once again, it's a little bit lighter on the outside. It's sort of like a interesting glow that's on the outside of this. So I'm just going to, and then I'm just going to really concentrate on getting this dark over here so we can get the glove. Now I have the light mixture and I'm building up. Now that's another way to actually build up texture. Have a great night, Colette. a nice way to build up texture is to go with the lightest mixture as possible and build up your values slowly. That is going to be one of your secret weapons to actually getting that texture, because each time you go from light to dark, and you slowly go from light to dark, you're going to be creating texture as you go, because you're really going to be paying attention to all those little intricacies, right? It's those little value shapes, those little tiny edges and everything like that. That's all going to come together, but it's not going to come together right away. It's going to take time. But look how I assimilated that already. So the glove does not look like it's pasted. And then as I come down here as well, you'll see that it continues, right? This is like really kind of super hard edged, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'll do that when I come back. And what we're going to do here is kind of bring this all the way up here, and then you'll see how this kind of comes in here. And again, we are still working in only detail mixture and light mixture. Yes, we have a long way to go, but also we are definitely on schedule when it comes to getting the values and everything. We're on schedule because our schedule is only to make things look really good. And so that's really important. Okay, guys, it looks like we made it. Take care, everybody. Steve and Brad and Mr. Paul, thank you so much for the super stickers and the support. I love it. And that goes for continuing to take this live stream to that next level, both in artwork and technology and everything. So I can't do without you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, all the newcomers. I really appreciate your time, and I hope that I get to see you next week. Now, stay tuned, because this Saturday is going to be a grand opening to a new website, and there's going to be a coupon code. So I will be sending an email out to you all, so you definitely can see it. Take care, everybody, and thank you so much for a memorable live stream with the new camera, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.